Hi. So, this week I've been thinking about a new book that I've sort of in the middle of reading. It's called Design-Driven Innovation by Roberto Verganti, who's a business professor from Italy, who spent some time at Harvard, has written some interesting Harvard Business Review articles, focuses a lot on innovation, and obviously from given his background, is well-versed in kind of the design-driven approaches of a lot of companies in Italy, the furniture industry and the lighting industry and so forth. So he brings those examples into his work, which is interesting for those of us who are kind of tired and bored of the same old examples. In this book, he really talks a lot about very disruptive innovations, things that make new markets and redefine product categories, which is an interesting topic because there's so much innovation that's around simply refining what's there or even lessening what's there. I'm kind of thinking about the Clayton Christensen model. And so the studying how companies create entirely new categories is really interesting. And one of the things Verganti emphasizes in the book, is that these companies don't poll their customers to find out what they want. Instead, they collaborate with a network of what he calls interpreters, or partners, people who have similar interests. You might even call them fellow travelers, who bring their expertise and allow the companies to create really bold proposals for a radically new function. So some of the examples are really familiar. For example, Apple and the iPod creating, taking an MP3 device that had been done by others before and really creating an ecosystem that made music easier to consume and share. To Nintendo and its invention of the Wii, sort of taking a left turn from competing with on graphics quality and speed of action, realism, into making games easier to play and more fun and more inclusive. And he talks a lot about ways of thinking about markets that are much different from just changing the function of something, but he looks at what he calls changing the meaning of a product. And so that's really an interesting thing to think about, and his kind of ecosystem and interpreters network concept reminds me of a book I read a couple of years ago called Smart World, which talked about how a lot of great ideas come from really the immersion of people and companies in networks of people, as opposed to sort of this lone inventor approach. And I think that's really useful because people are thinking a lot about open innovation, but rarely are they kind of talking about the kind of intimate idea exchange that they talk about in Smart World and in Design-Driven Innovation. I'm really eager to read the rest of the book. I'm a little more than halfway through. I think it's one of the best books I've read so far this year, and it's caused me to kind of think differently about innovation and how I can help people do it better.